YouTube, what's going on? Diecast enthusiasts. Happy Friday night. So, I have some cars here I'm going to crack open. But before I get to that, I was watching game 3 of the World Series. Astros won. That's a good thing. And while I was watching, I was browsing ZA3. And guess what it looks like they're gonna do with the new all-terrain, what series is it, 5 or 6? The Dodge Ram Charger is going to be lifted. Now, it could just be my eyes playing tricks on me, because it's just an art rendering. It's not a tooling sample or anything like that. But the way they have the rendering laid out, it certainly looks like it's going to be lifted. And I hope they do, because this casting, this tooling, needs a lifted version. So does the C10. Gosh, I could probably list 5 or 6. The Wranglers, the Dodge D100. I would like to see a lift on one of those Chevy G20 vans. I think that would look dope. But it looks like, from the rendering, it looks like they're going to bring this puppy out with a lift. You can see here, this is the first all-terrain. This is the first time we saw the Dodge Ram Charger in the all-terrain series. It's been out quite a few times before that. But, and they're all awesome. I love this casting. Now, I do like it with the top more so than without the top. This is a cost-saving measure, but it still looks okay. I think it looks really good. I think this is a really nice tooling that Greenlight did a really nice job on. I would say probably pretty close to Auto World type of quality, although it's definitely not Auto World quality construction. It's still really good construction, and it's very, very detailed, and it looks scale accurate. So I thought I would share that, because I've been calling for a lifted Ram Charger for a while. This is the next casting that I want to see lifted, and also the C10. And I think eventually we're going to see all of them lifted. But when I saw that rendering, I was pretty stoked about it. So really cool truck there. Now let's get on to some awesome diecast cracking. I got some stuff today that I really wasn't expecting to get. I thought maybe I'd get it tomorrow, but I ended up getting them today. Although this one here, I wasn't planning on getting at all. So this is new for 2017 from round 2, from the brand Johnny Lightning. It's a limited edition, one of 2,502. I don't know what the deal is with this. I don't know if this is going to be available in stores, or if it's a hobby exclusive, or what. I got it from a local, he's kind of like a semi-distributor. But anyways, here we go. Camaro 50, 1967, 2017, 2-pack. And I'm not talking about the rapper. The greatest rapper there ever was, by the way, Eminem. Can't carry Tupac's jockstrap, bud. All right, let's get these out and take a look. So this is cool for a couple of reasons. I'll start out with this one here. First reason is that this tooling is a new Johnny Lightning tooling for my collection. I think this tooling has been out, so it's not like a new casting or anything like that. But I don't have this late model Camaro. although it's probably not considered a late model any longer. This is a 2002 ZL1 Chevy Camaro. Now, a lot of this body style Camaros and Firebirds that came out pre round 2 relaunch, most of them that I've seen have had plastic tires. This model here, you can see it's got a really nice paint job, nice color. The graphics are dope. You've got the 427 on the front quarter. This is a metal body, really nice detail. Check out the tail end, the brake lights. That looks great. Metal body, metal base, rubber tires with tread. So that is awesome. Now, from a scale standpoint, I think this is a little bit small to be a true 1:64, but it looks really good. And I'm not a big fan of this body style for the Camaro, but from a diecast replica standpoint, I think Johnny did a great job with this. I think really the only thing is the scale looks off. It looks like it would be kind of a goofy car to do in diecast form, in any replica form, but I think they did a pretty good job of it. It's a little wobbly there, but I don't think that's the car. I think that's my road. Well, it's a little bit of both. Anyways, on to the next. So this one here is a 1969. By the way, does this hood open? So this does not have an opening hood, and I'm okay with that. You don't want to push it. Sometimes with the Firebirds and the opening hoods, they don't close up right, and it messes all the lines up. So I'm okay with the fact that this hood does not open. That is a nice looking car, though. I like it. Now this one, this tooling here is a 69. This goes back to the Plain Mantis era of Johnny. And this is the best, in my opinion, the best Camaro tooling of all of their Camaros. Doesn't matter. You can take a Gen 1 all the way through. To me, this is the nicest tooling. And I have at least one or two others. The 67 tooling I am not a fan of. But then again, I'm not a fan of any 1:64 scale replica that I've seen of the 67. They just all look goofy to me. But this looks really good. It's a little bit small to scale, but the detail just looks phenomenal. And I love these orange steelies with the chrome hubcaps. That's just an awesome look. But check out all the silver or chrome trim around all the way across the rocker, the wheel wells, the doors. You got the door handles done, the windshield and wipers, the rear glass, just so much detail. Here's your grill, front bumper, fog lights. Let's take a look at the back. Back end looks really good. You got the bow tie, even a license plate. So it's an awesome car. The whoever designed it, I don't know. I'm sure nowadays it's probably all computer generated. But this casting goes back, I think, to the 90s. So this might have been something that was sculpted. But whoever did it did a good job. It looks really, really good. The spoiler is part of the casting, which, you know, from an authenticity standpoint, probably not the best thing. But from a durability standpoint and a collecting standpoint, it's not a terrible thing, because I can't tell you how many spoilers on premium diecast cars come loose or come off. It's a really nice roller. So, a couple of awesome Camaros, but now I want to get to the good stuff. We'll start with this. There's so much to talk about here. So much to talk about. So, if you've watched my videos, you know Auto World is probably, from a domestic brand standpoint, probably my third favorite brand to collect. Although, I think it's moving its way up. Greenlight is still my favorite. And honestly, there's only one reason why Auto World is not my favorite, and that's just because of their lack of variety with the toolings. Oh my god, this thing is just awesome. (1969) Chevy Kingswood Estate. This is version B. Now these lead sleds are hobby exclusives, so they're not M&J. I don't think they're M&J. If they are, the packaging doesn't say that. It just says hobby exclusive, and it's limited to 1,800, so it's not a common casting, and it's not something you're going to find at your local Toys R Us. Might find it at a local hobby shop, but you're not going to find it at a retail location. So let's take a look, see if we can see what kind of sponsor badges we have here. I see STP. I see Champion Spark Plugs, Hooker Headers, Lunati. I don't think my camera is quality enough. Krager, Carts. I think that might be a K&N. And then you have the Kingswood Estate badge there on the rear quarter panel. These wheels are brand new wheels from Auto World. Now I'm not a diehard Auto World collector like some of you guys are, like Champion DJK. So I don't know. I'm not like the authority on Auto World, but in my collection of my 85 cars or so, none of them have these wheels. And I know none of them have the BF Goodrich radial TA tires. So, very, very cool. This car is just so dope. Auto World smashes it. This is probably, you know, like I said with the Cadillac in yesterday's video, that car is one of the nicest 1/64 scale cars ever cast. That includes Tomica Limited Vintage, Kyosho, and all of them. This wagon right here is the nicest 1/64 station wagon ever built. That's my opinion. I should have brought out a couple others for the video. I didn't. I only have a couple others. I have the first Ultra Red. Then I have the ugly green one, which I think was the first one that they brought out. And then I have a cream colored one when they switched from brown paint for the wood and went with a brown paint with a tampo on top of it. So they really are amazing cars. And I have to correct myself because in last night's video with the Cadillacs and the Roadrunners, I talked about how on the Cadillac, the bumpers were part of the mold and they were not separate pieces. And I said on the Roadrunner that they are separate pieces, because when you look at it at the right angle on the Roadrunner, I don't think this one will do it, but it looked like there was a gap. It looked like a separate piece, but that is not the case. There are no extra pieces attached to this. That is all part of the mold, and it's just all detailed. Now, to me, you know, I know M2 prides themselves on, oh, it's made with 46 pieces. I hate that. I think the ultimate achievement from a 1 to 64 scale diecast car, the ultimate achievement is, let's see who can make it with the least amount of pieces and the most amount of detail. Now, there's going to be a compromise somewhere in there because you don't want it to be like Hot Wheels where you only have, you know, 5 pieces or whatever. You have the body, the base, the interior, the windows, and then you have the wheels and tires, which is 6 pieces. So that's 10 pieces to make a Hot Wheel. You don't want it to be that bad, but I noticed with some of their new castings, they're doing separate seats and even like two-tone interiors. They have a lot of cool stuff coming out. Growing up, we had when I was just a little kid, the first brand new car my parents ever bought was like a 1984 Chevy Caprice wagon. So it's a little bit newer than this one. But being one of 6 kids, 4 kids most of the time, 6 kids part of the time, I was always sitting in the back facing backwards, and I hated it. This thing is so cool. The wheels and tires, man, I'm telling you, the white lettering really just makes it pop. All right. Now we're going to take a look at version A of the same car, and this is the car that set it off. Auto World has done this in a larger scale, I think in 1 to 18 scale, but they're bringing it down to the 1 to 64. And this car, from the first moment I saw that they were bringing it out, I knew this was a car that I was going to have. And oh man, it's just so nice. Hudson, Iowa. So the black one has a Nevada plate. The white one doesn't even have a plate. This is based on an actual car, as far as I know. And why is it rolling like that? So here you go with the lead sled. And again, going back to the wheels, these are the same wheels as the black one. As you can see, the black ones are painted black. And on the lead sled, they are chrome. But they are the same wheels. So, the amount of detail on this car, this is something we haven't seen from Auto World. However, they are starting to do this a lot with the exclusive stuff, whether it's a hobby exclusive or an M&J exclusive. I don't think we've really seen it with the commercial release stuff, with the exception of the Ford GTs. There really hasn't been any other cars where they get crazy on the graphics. So, but they are starting to do it. You're starting to see it a lot with the exclusive stuff. So hopefully that transfers to the commercial releases, because from what I've seen, and I haven't seen much of it, but Auto World does as good a job as anybody when it comes to putting graphics and tampos on these cars. For as small as these graphics are, look how razor sharp they are and how legible all the fonts are. Quaker State Racing Oil. You can't even read that with the naked eye. It's just like a little black blob. John Day. You have all the same graphics here, so I can see them a little better on this one. You have Hearst, Champion, STP. I'm not sure what's between Champion and STP. Then you have Lunati, Krager, Hooker Headers, Carter. Not sure what's above Krager, and I'm not sure what's below Lunati. It looks kind of like the one above Krager is K&N, but I don't know. The other thing too is this car, I think it was a thing back in the 70s, so those graphics are probably throwback. But the top has graphics as well. So you have the black with the orange and blue. And then on the side you have the blue and orange. Here's the back of the car. Hudson, Iowa. Just incredible detail. So none of this is separate pieces. That is all part of the casting. Same thing here with the front end. No separate pieces. So Auto World is killing it. They are just killing it right now. And quite frankly, Greenlight's killing it right now too. And Johnny Lightning isn't doing so bad. So right now is a great time to be a collector of diecast. And I can tell you when I started collecting, which was 3 or 4 years ago at this point, it wasn't all that great of a time to collect. Auto World was just getting started, and people were just kind of getting into them. People didn't know much about them. You could get Ultra Reds on the secondary market for $15. I think those days are gone, with a few exceptions. Some of the Ultra Reds are just bad enough that you can find them for cheap. But for the most part, it's really taken off, and rightfully so. From a detail and quality standpoint, talking about the quality of their construction, the way they're put together, they are probably the best. In fact, I wouldn't even say probably. I would say it is the best brand domestically. Greenlight does a lot of stuff really, really well, but Greenlight has too many inconsistencies with their quality control. And M2 to me just isn't even on the same level as Auto World or even Greenlight for that matter. And that's just my opinion. I know I make a lot of people mad when I say it, but they don't make anything this nice. I can tell you that for sure. And, you know, maybe when you get one of their raw chase cars, but I think a lot of it for me is I hate the opening doors in this scale. 1/64 scale diecast models, in my opinion, shouldn't have opening doors, because when you do that, you compromise so much of the detail. Now, if you're a collector and you like just general diecast, then that's fine. But for me, the reason I collect Greenlight, Johnny Lightning, and Auto World is because they are the closest things to actual 1-to-1 scale cars. And you just, in my opinion, you lose a lot of that detail by making the door open. One thing I think a lot of people don't realize is that if you were to take this car, okay, this is a 1/64 scale car. When you look at this car, you can clearly see the joints around the door. You can see where the door ends and the body of the car meets up with it. In actuality, people don't know this, and you may not believe me when I tell you this. That's fine. I don't care. It's a fact. If you were to take this car 1-to-1 scale and shrink it down to 1/64 scale, those lines right there would not be visible. You would not be able to see them. They would be so small. So the fact that these lines are exaggerated at all is kind of an unrealistic thing, although you're trying to replicate the car and you want people to be able to see it. But if a 1-to-1 scale car was shrunk down, they wouldn't be visible because the scale would just be too small. So when you make a casting that has opening doors, the joints are exaggerated. They're even bigger. In M2's case, they're huge half the time because the door doesn't close right or it doesn't line up properly. And so to me, that just takes so much away from the authenticity of the replica. I just like it to look as close to the real thing as possible. And by not having opening doors, I think you can get closer to that look. So, anyways, a really cool night for Diecast. I didn't get much today. I only got the 4, but it's 2 cars that I've been wanting since they came out, and I've just about been ready to buy the white one on eBay. And a guy local to me came across a couple, so just so worked out that I didn't have to go to the internet, which I don't mind going to the internet, but I don't want to go to the internet if I don't have to. And when I went to pick him up, he showed me this 2-pack. He said, "Hey, you interested in this?" And I don't have like I said, I don't have this tooling. And they both looked plenty nice enough to me that I said, sure, I think I'll take them. That's a very nice 69. I want to see Greenlight do a 69. That thing. There's also something to be said about Auto World black cars. I think at some point I'm going to do a video just on their black cars. I have a nice assortment of black Auto World castings, and man, do they look nice. And there's your lead sled. There's your helicopter view. All right, Diecast enthusiasts, that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much. If you disagree with anything that I've said in this video, that's perfectly fine. If you want to make a counterpoint to anything I said in this video, please comment below. And hopefully I'll see you guys back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is the Halloween Diecast meet, so I'm expecting it to be probably the busiest meet that we've had in a while, so hopefully I can find some other cool stuff. But I've noticed at those meets they are mostly Hot Wheels, and that's just something I don't collect. So, but I do go and I try to, you know, you can find the Johnnies mixed in from time to time, and green lights, and so I'll go check it out. But thanks for looking. I will holler at the next video.